Can you hear me? I hope, at least. Okay, welcome to the stream. Let's see what I have to do today. Can you hear me? I hope, at least. Let's see at least if it compiles. Alright, the camera is broken. The entity outliner seems to be working somewhat. I need to fix the camera first. By the way, I'm implementing the user interface on top of the editor or whatever I have at the moment. So, and I broke the camera movement. So movement logic. Mouse. No. This must be relative. The mouse coordinates must be relative to the viewport widget. Not sure if they are correct. Oh, I know. The viewport track is X2 and Y2. Okay. What could be wrong? Motion. Ah, I was looking at the wrong code. This is the one that does the camera rotation. So mouse axis relative, center, viewport. This is the viewport relative. Center viewport. Okay. Mouse rotate. True. Let's just copy and paste this. This point inside mouse. Mouse Y. It is a static function. Oh, alright. Let's do this. Okay, so now to be able to rotate the camera, we must like right click and also be inside the viewport. Let's enable the hot reload for my editor so we can iterate faster without recompiling every time from scratch. My cats are having fun with the green screen behind me. What's it doing? Huh? Okay, it's gonna take a little bit to recompile it because I actually have a lot of modules, static libraries. I have a lot of things here in my project as it should be. Okay, so if I click outside, nothing happens. If I click inside, nothing happens. It won't rotate anymore. So, what the hell? So, because the mouse, I should rename the variable with this mouse X. Why it doesn't mean anything, right? Let's just say mouse X and mouse Y, and make them global. Because in fact they are. What's that? No, nope. Okay. Now, they are not relative to the viewport. So, let's just fix the raycast code here. Let's make just a quick function. Split inside near equal, crop shrink, move. It's gonna recompile the engine. No, I don't like it. So we're gonna do this. Minus the viewport rect dot x and viewport rect dot y. It's not the ein. Let's copy and paste it here. Okay. So now the Gitmo system receives the relative position. We kind of, let's make a function. Alright, that's too tedious. So let's make a function down here. Helper 1 PLM back to get viewport relative mouse position. Yep, like this. Viewport. Okay, easy peasy. Now let's do it like this. Yeah, sure. Why not? It counts. Yeah, it is. So you must use everywhere relative position. So now the mouse motion must be relative to So we got the mouse motion event. We don't care. We store it as the absolute mouse position, but the gizmo system, what the hell? Windows camera motion, okay. The gizmo doesn't care, it needs only the relative position since it works only inside the viewport. So delta, delta is gonna be the center viewport minus the viewport relative mouse position. Can both be constant. Alright. Rotation, set cursor position, the center of the viewport. The center of the viewport. It's not the actual center because it needs to be. It needs to have an offset. It's not. It's relative to the viewport, not the screen coordinates. So let's add the viewport position so it's in screen space. I must have missed other points where I need the relative mouse position. Oh, I guess not. Let's see if it works. Good. Somewhat working, but not right. It's spinning like crazy for no reason. What could it be? It's like very small error. Ah. I'm setting the cursor position to be the center of the viewport. I'm computing the delta is the center viewport minus the mouse relative. What the hell? Let's get paint. Okay, we have our window. Then we have our viewport here somewhere. I need the center of the viewport here. Okay. So to compute the center of the viewport in screen space, we must add the viewport origin to the center of the viewport. So the origin plus half of the viewport size. Okay. Why is the delta not 0? Let's print it. print the delta. Okay. It won't print. Has failed to apply code changes. Nice. .5 delta. Why? Why is that? I don't fucking know. Oh my god. So this center. Okay. Viewport rect. It's odd. Oh. So of course the center has a decimal number. So delta is big. The next delta. No, the next one. Why is it 0.5? Center of the viewport. Come on. Okay, the relative position is correct. The viewport center, I assume it is correct. 0.5. I should avoid 0.5. Like it's half pixel. I should not care about half pixel. I guess I'll leave anyway. I can't think of another way, of a better solution, because like if the size is even, you have an even number, but if it's 0.5, you will always have 0.5 delta. So just keep it. Like it's impossible to a mouse, for a mouse to be between 2 pixels. Okay, now it works correctly. So I think the raycast is working too. Check the axes, they work. Okay. The rotation is working. The scale too. Yeah. Nice. Okay. But if I click, let's see, if I left click here, it will still raycast the scene. And we must not raycast in the scene when we are on top of the UI. Or on the contrary, only when we are in the viewport. So we already did this. Where is it? It's mouse inside the viewport. Let's make it like bring it to a higher scope. So here, mouse left, yes, and must also be inside viewport to do the gizmo things, the raycast. Okay, so not raycasting anymore. Okay. Let's commit my changes. Alright, we can go back on working on the entity outliner. Entity outliner. I don't know why it is so slow. I guess it's not. It's just an illusion. So it released. There was a log that left somewhere that I want to disable. Override widgets. Okay, let's disable this. Focus widget, I don't care. This logs for now. I just want the entity outliner. Okay, I've made the create list event listener. So whenever I click on one item of this tree list, virtualized tree list, it's gonna call this callback. I need to signal the editor that I selected a different entity. So what can I do? The moment I'm just changing the widget style to make it look like it's selected, but it's actually not. So we have like indentation of like it's selected. No, I don't like this. I should not care if it's selected or not. I just don't know what to do right now. How to handle the selection of the entities. Like, I don't want to create a custom widget that does things. I want to reuse the existing widget. So, changing the style is fine. To make it look like is selected. And just define the widget styles as string views. Yep. Thank you, the pilot. Oh. We're gonna do a little bit of cleanup. So I will also clear my ideas and thoughts. What? Maybe I should have a link, like a map of selected items. I don't know, that should be outside, so let's go with the simple way. Is selected. So the item is constant. I can't change the item state. That's correct. I can't change it, so so on the create function, if item is selected, let's do a ternary operator. Thank you, Copilot. So if it's selected, we're gonna give a selected style. If it's not, we're gonna give a default style. So here in the click event, we don't do much with the widget. You're just gonna return true. So it's gonna recreate all the visible elements. And of course, by calling this create function, it will set the correct style. So what I need is another callback. I don't want to create, like, this is already a callback. You have a lambda here. It will call another lambda. Seems kind of ugly. A lambda that creates another lambda that calls on. Let's do it anyway. Who cares? It will std function. So come on. Let's we're gonna return the it comes reference to the entity item. I can select clicked or selected. What is the difference? I don't know. Clicked. Let's say clicked. So on clicked item, yeah, we set the function, and here we call the function. No. Let's actually rename it. Yeah. So it's clear to read. So what? It's functional, not functional. Okay, now on my editor, in must find the correct fallback. So in the initialize something, initialize UI. Come on. Must exist somewhere. Correct genre now. No. Okay, here. So. Alright. Agree here. Right. Let's do something. So. Editor UI. We're gonna get entity outliner. Set on item click. Yep. We are gonna set another lambda. Okay, entity clicked. Okay. The log stays here. ID. One thing I can't do is, what is wrong with you? Let's cast it plain in. Okay. Now the editor SM, we have the selection manager. Select entity ID. Nope. Oh, where is it? There is no selection. What the hell? Selection manager. Come on. The editor FSM selection manager. Yep. Okay. Select entity ID. Okay. Maybe must clear. No. Selection manager. Come on, help me. The select. Okay, I'm back. So I don't know if I have to recompute the entity items list. Where is it? Should be here. Entity outliner item. Let's find its usages. So it adds. Nope. So it can't. It's managed by the world callbacks. So, like clear selection. The thing I need to do is to find it, correct. Now, if it has been found, we can select it. Otherwise, we are trying to select an entity that no longer exists. Okay. Select entity. And also, we set to selected. But the previous one be unselected. Like if we had a previous selected entity, which is never in our case because we didn't have this field is selected before this. So, yeah, we must also handle the case where we raycast into the world trying to select entity. So raycast world. So if it hits something, clear selection, select entity. And we find it in the outliner entities. Yes, it must exist. Item, no, not the item. Let's do this. It must exist already. And by the way, I don't want to capture the whole world. So I'm gonna capture only it. Same thing here. I don't want to capture the whole world. I need only to capture the item. Correct. Huh. And then, okay, since I'm selecting this entity, like, I'm cleaning this selection. Then, if it exists, I'm gonna select it. Okay. But like we must reset other items that are still may still be selected. So it's correct if I make another function, because copy pasting all of this code is not very good practice. Okay. Okay, this is Gizmo stuff. Okay, I don't care. So, select. And fine. Okay. So the selection manager, what does it do? Like selected entities. Okay. Wait a second. Okay, let's get back. So I must deselect all the items in an efficient way. How I'm gonna do it? Huh. So first of all, I'm gonna extract the function. So translate whatever it is. No. That gives more translation. Yeah. Hit front. Okay. Extract function. Nope. Wrong button. Extract function. Can't be completed. So let's make a function by hand. So void select single entity entity ID. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste this inside of it. So entity ID, no, ID, here too, same thing. So before we set select true, let's do just a simple loop to set all of the items to not selected. Select all items. Let's do the same thing here. Select single entity. Okay. Fine, it must exist. Said could not exist. So so return here. Set to selected. We must set the gizmo, no gizmo, because of course we have nothing selected that state. So let's see, raycast world. So hit entity ID. Okay. So now the entity outliner will call the function. The function will call select single entity. Click item. Okay, so Select single entity. Here's selection. Select entity. Deselect. Set everything to false. Then find it. If it exists, set it to selected. Then set the editor state to translate and set up the gizmo. Okay. I think it should work. If it doesn't, I'm gonna break my keyboard. Okay. Let's see if it works. We have the helmet here. Let's select the helmet. Okay. Let's select the map. Okay, the map is selected. It's not updating the style for some reason. And I know why. Is because like after we should update the editor UI. Get entity outliner, yes. Set entity outliner items. The outliner entities. We must update the UI item list. Okay, now it should work. I'm a little bit tired. Come on, faster, compile faster. Build as completed. Yes. Apply changes fail. Come on. Visual Studio is crap at this point. For some things it works, and for others it doesn't. Who knows why. So, body. Selected the body. No, map. Select the helmet. We scroll back, you see it's still selected. Tree. Let's select a random tree. Oh. Aratata, yep. I can move. Select the map. This feels nice. Okay. Kinda works. It might not be the most efficient way of doing it, but at least it's working. So okay. Huh. The next things must add are the undo and redo command system. It shouldn't be too hard to implement. Like at this point I need Anyway, a way to create entities, it's just a button, so create the entities and destroy them, not big of a deal. Like the most important part of the engine, let's see, my roadmap. Let me log in into GitLab. Come on, something went wrong. Always goes wrong. I'm not a robot. Let me in, please. Okay. Oh god, I'm transparent. So, this is my roadmap. Reach the version 0.3 to have at least something that kind of resembles a game engine. So, what I actually did is the Gizmo editor with the scene outliner, and I think restore Gizmo features from editor 1, implement basic scene outliner with virtualized list, display entity names, done, able to select single entities, done, clear separation on graphical user interface from the editor logic using intermediary, whatever. The struct we have our items entity outliner items struct. Yep. Then we have the editor that has it's like the ground truth that stores its state in this our custom structs, and the user interface reacts only to these structs and will not modify them. So we always have the user interface in sync what really what really is in the world. So I think the pull request here, it's pretty huge. Not the biggest I've done, but one extra thing I could do, like you can't see what you are selecting. You see, you only can know by seeing the gizmo inside it, but if they're really close, you can't really distinguish which entity is selected. So I have an idea. Let's implement a simple like outline shader for the selected entity. I'm not sure how long it will take. Let's check the code architecture first. So I have the world render pipeline here. We have the gizmo dev buffer, right? Yep. The editor gizmo pass occluded. Okay. Pass overlay. Huh. We should create a separate render pass, I think. Like I imagine, like you draw, like for example, the gizmo is rendering on top of the scene frame buffer, and it's using the depth buffer of the scene to figure out which part of the gizmo are intersecting other meshes. So I would like to use the same method, or maybe the same render path, like to draw the mesh on top, the same mesh on top of the selected one with like a bright color, and let the depth test only, like, if we take each vertices or each faces of the model and we like extrude it along its normals, I guess we can make it slightly bigger in it's kind of hard to explain, like wrap my head around. Let's get in paint once again. Okay, I have my beautiful mesh, which is a triangle, like a star. It is a star. We have a star. We don't have it. Okay, we have a star, which is our selected entity. What I'd like to do is like we create another frame buffer on top of it. We render the same mesh but slightly bigger. Let me see if I can make it slightly bigger, like extrude it, each vertices along their normals, like this, and then let the depth test fail for those pixels that are the same as the selected mesh. So only the pixels that are outside the mesh will pass the depth test. But one problem is that if we have another mesh, for example, in the middle, but we're drawing on top of it, it could work unless they are really intersecting. Otherwise I have to render the same mesh multiple times, which I don't want to do. Let's see for 1 second how the gizmo is rendered. Come on. Okay. This is our scene frame buffer or render target, whatever you want to call it, the color buffer. Then we have the next pass. No, not the UI test. Begin render path. Ah, because I have nothing selected. Of course. Let's select. Alright. Like this. Okay. Okay, this is our scene. Let's remove the wireframe. So now I render the gizmo, the occluded part, only where the depth is lower, like where the depth test would normally fail. That is custom shader. Then I have another render pass that draws the opposite, like the part of the gizmo where the depth test only where it passes, where it doesn't fail. So if I could do the same thing for the object, but I would need a separate render pass. Like I could use the gizmo. Okay. Before drawing the gizmo, we have a clean depth buffer for our render pass. We can draw the mesh once again. Then we render on top of the mesh the same mesh slightly bigger and let the depth test do its own thing. So if in the depth buffer there is nothing else, we won't have any artifacts. So, and then comes the gizmo. Because the gizmo is using right now the scene depth buffer. Like it has its own depth buffer for its self depth testing, but it actually copies the scene depth buffer, so it remains untouched. It is a copy basically. So we really need, like in Unreal Engine, the occluded part of the gizmo. It's only occluded by the selected mesh or by the whole scene. Like this part is occluded by this mesh, but if I go behind the tree, the whole gizmo is occluded. So I guess it doesn't make any difference. Like it's occluded. You can see that it's behind something. It makes sense. Okay. So we need to render the selected object. Okay. Editor gizmo pass occluded. I need to create two passes. Create a new shader. Okay. So let's do it. So editor, selected mesh pass. Let's initialize it here. Okay, now we do this. We do the normal forward pass for the scene. Then we copy the scene depth buffer into the gizmo depth buffer. We must do before this happens. So we use the color depth buff. We color the forward pass pipe color buffer ID. Depth stencil. We use the gizmo depth buffer, a new one. The editor selected mesh pass must clear say clear pass. It must clear everything. So we draw the things we have to draw, but before that, here we draw our mesh as we did previously, nothing more. We need another pass, applying wall pass, same thing, editor, selected mesh pass, mesh outline pass. Okay. Thanks, Copilot. So we draw the regular mesh. But we don't need a render target. Like, no. Only depth buffer. And now the same thing as before. And the color buffer, the slightly bigger mesh with depth greater. Should never pass. Which depth less. Depth right. Oh. Okay. Only right to depth buffer. As usual. Okay. Then we need to synchronize. We need to add a barrier because we have created a render pass. We used the gizmo depth buffer, so the gizmo depth buffer is not undefined anymore. It is in this state, depth right, stencil right, and we transition it to copy destination. All right. The Vulkan validation layer should not scream at me. I hope so. Then now we just have to submit the mesh to both passes. We must create a new shader. Okay, it's not screaming at me. Cool. Okay. Let's write the shader. Shader, static unlit, gizmo, static unlit. Nope. Where is it? Include. Okay. By the way, I'm using Slang compiler, which is easier, in my opinion, compared to GLSL in like, because it supports reflection. I have reflection support in my game engine, and it's better. I think it's better. So we have the default main entry point. Let's define another entry point. Vertex shader main. How do we call it? Like inflate. Let's inflate the mesh. So the only thing we care is texture, color, or position. So normal matrix, normal, okay. Those are the same. The position. Okay, what if we invert? We compute the normals before. How do we inflate? Like we have a normal of the face. I guess we could take that, take the position and multiply inflate amount. Thanks, Copilot. Nope. Inflate amount 0.1. Yeah. I guess it will work. So perfect shader main inflate. Let's load in the shader. Where is it? Gitmo, default textures. Same mesh right now. So the complete mesh. World renderer. So we have a global material. We have a gizmo material. Let's go init gizmo. Let's go in there. Okay. We have some materials. Let's do anonymous scope here. The editor mesh outline shader. Okay. Entry point. Okay. Let's create a new material. So shader program. Oh, I need to load the shader program. Default static and lit. Okay, let's go there. So 3D basic shader, editor mesh, line shader. Just gonna copy. What shader did I do? It's included in every shader, so let's shader path depth prepass. Okay, let's say add the new one, the inflate. Nice. We must create a shader program or pipeline state object. So let's define it here. So default static mesh and lit. Depth prepass, the stages, and then the inflate depth prepass. Do I really need it? Yes. So I have both of these. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Let's go down here. Okay. Push back. Okay. Main. So we push back a default main entry point, and then we push a PS main. I don't really care about PS main. I need a PS depth prepass, which doesn't use anything. No textures. We don't care. Then the same thing goes here. But there is one problem. Where is the inflate? Inflate. Because we have a depth pre-pass. Depth pre-pass? Where is it? Depth pre-pass. It returns just a black. So it will just return the material color. So linearize the color. I also need the color input. Okay. Yep, we need gamma correction and all those things. Final color. Float 3, yeah, thank you. But it's a float 4, okay. Text color, no. Input color dot A. Okay. I don't really want alpha values, so I just put it 1. Okay, take the material base color, the vertex color, multiply them to convert to gamma space, linear, whatever, from linear to gamma, and then we return it. So depth pre-pass must use a color. Nice, we can pass our outline color. So let's create the shader program now. Shader manager. Nothing. The pipeline shader entry point, because the pipeline stain object is created at runtime on demand, so we just need to define the correct entry points. Materials are the same, I think. I don't quite remember. Where are the materials? Attachment, yeah, so manager, yeah. Here we cache the default. So configuration, we have all of these things, the shader program, and these stages. Shader layout. What is the shader layout? Oh, it's the thing. Like, where is this defined? Why is it defined in the world? I don't really know. Okay, who cares? Let's do it. So let's update when we select an entity. Update the mesh outline render passive. It's such a mess to do it because we need to get the render pipeline. the world render pipeline. Lock it because it's a weak pointer. Uh, the mesh path. Okay. Let's call it pre-pass. That is depth pre-pass. Then we have the outline pass. Okay. Now, we must. I don't quite remember how to do it. We need to create all of this mess. Prepare gizmo draw item. This is very huge. PSO ID. Oh, we need the pipeline and object ID. But we have two different pipelines. Here, okay. Oh my god. So, let's start. Okay, we could actually just use. I don't really care. I think we should use the. I'm using a custom mesh pass. Just a default pass. Yeah, just default pass. So. I need just to get the default. Can we get the. Okay. We use the world already cached to draw item if we can. I don't think we can. GPU material proxy like world render. Okay. The world renderer already has the meshes and things. Oh my fucking god. We need another world renderer. Get visible draw items. I need only one draw item. Huh. So the like sync material, no? Create mesh component. Okay, because the mesh manager, mesh storage, we have the entity sync queue. The sync queue, come on. The synchronize queue will create all the proxies of the meshes, and it will store their handles privately, so no one can access it from the outside. So this is gonna be a problem because we need to create everything again. Okay. Let's create, like, get the world draw item. get find draw item, and what do we need to pass around? Image component. That's not actually it. So we have the entity proxy resolver, which is private. Only the world renderer can access it. We have a mesh stored. GPU material. We have a lot of things. I don't think that it's so easy. Find draw item. It's not easy because I have mesh components. We could have so many. I don't wanna like do it each frame. I guess we won't do it. Nope, that's a bad way of doing it. We must gather the entity. Okay. Since we have the iterator, we have the entity ID. Okay. World get. Yeah. Okay. It's world get component. Try get component. Try get component. What? What did you do? Okay. If we found the component, what can we do with it? It has a mesh reference. And must have a valid mesh. Get mesh reference. Okay, we have the mesh things attributes. This is the raw mesh. We don't want the raw mesh. I need the CPU or mesh storage. Mesh data. What does it do? Return the reference to a mesh. Okay. It has CPU side mesh, and the GPU has a resource reference to a mesh. So we could return the mesh from the handle. So GPU mesh render get mesh manager, GPU mesh manager, get mesh data. Nope. Get mesh graph. And what does it return? GPU mesh attribute info. Attributes. What is wrong with it? Const get mesh data. Get handle. Alright. Index buffer handle. Okay. GPU mesh data. Whatever this is. I don't remember. Now we need the renderer. Get mesh binder. Where is the mesh binder? Mesh binding data. Binding data. Okay. Render mesh resource binder. We must do all of this. Draw item. World. Draw item. Draw item. Mesh binding data. Render. Okay. Get mesh data. We have the mesh data here. What do we need? The PSO, the pipeline state object data. Pipeline state object data. We don't have it yet because it's defined down here. So mesh outline prepass PSO. So get or create PSO. Gizmo material occluded. No. I don't remember what's that. Default static PSO data. Yeah. We could just use these. The default. What is a pointer? Okay, dereference the pointer. Mesh outline pass. Here we need a new pipeline. Pipeline config key. We have a Gizmo pipeline key. Where is it defined? Gizmo material occluded. There's defined a material. Okay, so mesh outline. Mesh outline must be overlay. Okay. It should be found here. We create pipeline config. Cool mode known, depth right, don't write. Compare must be greater. No, I don't want it to be greater. So greater, less, only less. Don't write. Default blend mode. Okay. So Gizmo pipeline config, no. Not the Gizmo. Select the entity I'm creating here, no. Must not create it here. Init UI. overlay, overlay. Oh, that's Gitmo. Here. We define here. So no less. So we create a new material for the mesh outline equals create material. What? It doesn't work like that. Just make unique. Yep. Make unique. Pipeline config, the config key. Vendor get shader. The shader. The shader is this one. The default. It's created here. Default shader program. Same shader. So mesh outline. Come on, faster, faster, I have to finish. So we have this get PSO config. What do you need more? The shader program, default mesh unlit shader program. Yep. Then the shader stages. Default inflate depth pre-pack. No. Inflate, it's not a pre-pass. Inflate. Just a pass. Share it out, it's the same for everyone. So mesh outline, pass, PSO. So what do we need here? 5 object ID. 0 item, 5 object, mesh outline now. Default. Very mesh unlit. PSO ID. What? It's a pointer. Okay. Then finding data, material resources, model matrix. Model matrix. So item model matrix is the component. Come on. Well, get component. You must have the transform component. Get lazy transform. And now the material resources. Oops. Zero item material resources is a little bit of a mess because I need to transform materials. That's a mess. I need to transform materials. The component. Oh, yeah. Come on. Set material resource. Get materials. DGP material unique resource. DGP material. Okay. Get materials. Nice. Get materials. Then git mod raw item. The material resource. GPU material proxy. Get or create proxy. Okay, we've added the materials. So the thing is, we need to clear mesh outline pass draw items clear. It's not efficient, but at least it will work for now. Give me a second. Okay, compiler, let's see. Oh my god, what is this? Get single entity lambda. What do you mean? Transform. Ah, but what is this? Vector, unique point, not a unique pointer. You're right. You are totally correct. Get or create needs a reference. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream soon. I have to cook dinner for myself. And here we go, nothing works. Because the shader doesn't exist. Default static mesh unlit shader. It's not defined yet. But it's defined here. No. Shader stages. Ah. It's defined here. Wow, so far away. Okay, we should see nothing. Only errors. What do you want from me? Come on. A unlit static mesh shader program. What? What happened? It changed the lines order. I don't know. should be available here. Compile, come on, baby. Okay, it won't work. It's trying to get this shader, which is not initialized yet. But it is initialized here. Ah, because it failed to compile. No function found matching at the point. Vertex shader in place. VS main in play. Yeah. What's wrong with it? Failed to compile shader. World Pixel Core. What? What in the world is happening? World Pixel Core 1. No function found matching entry point vs main inflate. What? I don't get. What is going on? I had the vertex main. Just create another function. Nothing different. The pixel shader, PS input. What? But I don't understand. What is wrong with it? I can see it here that it exists. It exists. Ah, because it's looking in the inflate. Inflate vertex. Yes. I don't get. Source config. What is source config? Shader path. Include path. Ah, okay. Shader path vertex. Because I'm adding the entry point in the vertex. I don't have any idea. Let's check it out. I was adding this entry point to the fragment shader. That's why I couldn't find it. Now we have 0 and 1. Okay, vertex. It has the main defined by default. And now the vertex has the correct one and the fragment shader as well. But it still won't work because shader manager is screaming about. Check the vertex layout, match the contract vertex layout. Yep. Why didn't change the vertex layout? What? White has a. How is it possible? Come on. because semantic index 0. Another position semantic index. Huh, that's the problem with the reflection. Why is it loading? Like I have two main functions in the vertex shader. And the reflection is returning 8 of them. I don't even know how to handle it. Ooh. Vertex input attributes. Let's see. Link program. Struct reflection from layout, global parameters. All these things. Nested field. Each shader reflection. If it's shader entry. Because I'm adding the vertex inputs, I should add them only once, like, but all the vertex shader must have the same layout. I guess so. Or each vertex shader can have different subset. I would love to have different subsets. Okay, let's leave a to-do for myself. Must be defined per entry point. One thing I can do right now, just ask Copilot no, come on. No instance. Come on. Unique. I have the equal operator. Yes, I have. A equals B. What the fuck is it doing? Okay. I don't care. It will work for now. I hope. Come on. Okay. If we debug, we could eventually see let's go and render the is better. Must be selected. What? I can't select. Come on. What's wrong with it? I can't select the entity anymore. It can't find something, maybe. Jaw. Material resource. We have how many sections? We have 6 sections and only 1 material. How is it possible? You have the editor, select mesh, okay. I fucked up. So there's something wrong here then. Like, why it has only 1 material? Like, how many materials do you have? Only 1 material? Are you crazy? Mesh sections. 1. It only has 1 mesh section. Yeah. What's wrong then? What the hell? I can't understand it. I can't get what's wrong. Come on. Like, tell me, you have only 1 draw item. Only 1. Gonna be 1. You got 6 mesh sections. Maybe it's returning the wrong. There's something wrong with the. Oh, where is the mesh binding? GPU mesh data. I'm shadowing the variable. I don't think so. Don't done. Ah, ok, adesso arrivano. Ok. Ah, va bene. Ok, va bene. Grazie Anna, ciao. Okay, I guess it's a problem for another day. GPU mesh data, 6 mesh sections. What are you selecting then? It can't be. Get mesh data. Mesh ref. Mesh section 1. It's returning a wrong mesh. Then let's see. Why it has 6 mesh sections? No, that's the gizmo. I am shadowing the variable. Shadowing something, I don't know. Last attempt. Okay. Component GPU mesh data mesh section 6. Six mesh sections. Who are you? Like, skip. Don't do anything. It's the helmet. Let's select a tree. Yeah. The tree has something that has only one mesh section. The helmet should have only one, as far as I remember. Maybe I'm getting the wrong. No, it's impossible. It has only one mesh section. You see? The mesh ref asset 1. And the mesh manager. Must be returning a wrong. There's nothing I can do. Hash 6 mesh. There's something wrong with this. Okay, I guess. See you next time. I hope I'll get this outline share finished. So, that's it for today. Bye guys. Bye everyone.